I've been using dating websites for many years. I met the last girlfriend I dated in the UK on a website almost 20 years ago. The fact that she turned out to be a bunny boiler is by the by. Before coming to Cebu, I signed up to Filipino Cupid. I have also used Pina Love, Date in Asia, OkCupid, Badoo and Tinder. I feel that they each go through phases of popularity. I spend hours on dating websites and could make at least 10 videos sharing my experiences, but I'll probably only make 9 to save you getting bored. Checking online profiles is addictive. I can trawl for hours looking at photos and reading girls' profiles, if there was actually something written there. You'll find the same Filipinas doing the rounds on a few different sites. A week before arriving in Cebu and signing up to Filipino Cupid, by the end of the first day I'd received 100 messages. Although, to be honest, the majority weren't actually lookers. I wrote to over 70 with a cut and paste message about liking them and would be arriving in Cebu the following week. I thought I'd get some decent leads from that, but not really. I'd scour different locations around the Philippines and see the same girl in different locations under different names. No, she's not moving around the country. This is a scammer. On Pina Love, you'll see the same girl in different photographs on the same page. And also the same 2 girls appear to log in at the same time every day. There are many scammers on these sites. Don't assume that the girl you think is in the photograph is actually the girl, or is a girl. I've been scammed a few times, which I'll save for another video. I don't normally approach a girl with just one photo. I'm a photographer. Most people can make themselves look half decent in one photo with a good angle and lighting. And don't assume their photographs are up to date either. I recently messaged a girl on Pina Love who looked around 18 in her profile photos. She was blonde, extremely pretty, had provocative photos shot from above, looking down at an impressive cleavage. An hour later, having got her WhatsApp number, her WhatsApp profile photo showed she was actually middle-aged. She'd aged 20 years in the short space of an hour. Other girls will put their best photograph at the front, and as you go through them, can map their journey through childbirth to lardy chops, shattering your dreams as you scan through 10 years of their life. My advice would be, rather than wasting days thinking you're chatting to the person in the photograph, ask for their WhatsApp number or Facebook Messenger and call them. If they reject your call a few times, that's a red flag. If they do answer the call, they could still be a scammer, however. One girl recently immediately video called me to show she was real, but then messaged after asking me to send money to her PayPal account so she could come from Bigg to visit me in Cebu. As if.
Don't miss out on quality broadcasting. Please like and subscribe to Bigg World Cinema. Thank you.
I started chatting with Cherry on Badoo. She was 32, lived near Mwalbwal in South Cebu. Her images on the app were mainly of her face, which was quite attractive. We spent a month chatting, virtually every day, had some great conversations. Arranged to meet in Cebu when Cherry was visiting her sister. We went to the food court at Ayala Central Block. As we took the up escalator, She wanted me to go ahead so I didn't notice her chunky legs, but it was too late. As we dined together, there was no chemistry. After a month chatting, we just didn't fancy each other. It was depressing. After all the time I'd invested, it felt like such a complete waste of time now. I can't understand people who spend years in long-distance relationships. I think you need to meet the person you're chatting with quite soon to see if there's any chemistry there. One of the first Filipinas I chatted to was called Sunshine. I was living in Bangkok at the time, but was planning on heading to Cebu in a couple of months. And seeing as I was having no success with Thai women in Bangkok, I was planning ahead. We met on Date in Asia. Sunshine was 25, was a single mother, which didn't faze me as she was stunning looking. We quickly transferred to WhatsApp. Sunshine sent provocative photos showing ample cleavage. I'm a sucker for a decent pair of breasts. At one point she went offline for a few minutes, then returned apologising, saying her friend had just sent photos through from a photo shoot from a fortnight earlier, which was difficult to believe, as in the photographs Sunshine's hair was short and a different colour, whereas her hair now was blonde and waist length. But I let it slide. Sunshine seemed keen, didn't care that I was a lot older. Her previous British boyfriend had been 46. How long were you with him, I asked. A few months, she said. Almost a year. I was going to point out that being together either a few months or a year was a huge difference, but again I let it slide. And he wasn't even her daughter's father, who was Australian. We began FaceTiming. Whenever we did, Sunshine was keen to show me her assets. She'd whip off her top to get changed for bed, giving me an eyeful. It felt like her breasts were her USP, having already sent tantalising images which she needed to emphasise on video. That was the point of the call. Was that all she had to offer? How many other guys was she doing this with? But on video, she looked different from the images she was sending. She had a round face and chubby on FaceTime. I took this photo today, she said, showing a chiselled jawline, cute and sexy, which had clearly not been taken that day, if that year. She obviously had a set of photographs taken in her better days, all photoshopped to death, that she'd revert to throughout her conversations with guys. She'd send a photo of her lying in bed saying she was ill, on antibiotics. Then an hour later, send a photo from a shop's changing room trying on a dress. I never knew what was real with her or not. I blocked her. I guess that's what you get with internet dating. Someone's entire life can be a complete fabrication. I've started literally hundreds of conversations with Filipinas online. 99% of conversations don't go anywhere. And if the conversations do go anywhere, girls can quickly disappear as quick as they have arrived. While still in Bangkok, I spent 48 hours texting and video calling Laurie Jane, aged 23, who also had a daughter. There's a pattern here. She was working in a factory in Danao, would be in the work canteen, kept turning her camera with a permanent grin on her face to show me off to her work colleagues, as if I was a cherished prize, saying how handsome I was. During the 48 hours we'd been in contact together, it was either me or she texting first, but she had just stopped. But now it was just me texting her all the time, so I didn't bother. Laurie Jane just disappeared. I have this game I play. If it's always me making the initial contact each day, I wait and see if they'll text me first the next day. 99% of Filipinas don't. The majority of Filipinas don't even read the profiles. They'd ask my name, where I was from, and whether I'd visited the Philippines before. Haven't you read my profile? I'd ask. The majority don't even bother writing profiles, which I find strange. They're trying to find a guy on the website, but can't be bothered to sell themselves. Some of them even type the word nothing in the About Them section. What's the point of them being on there, with all of their profile photos still wearing a face mask? Clearly something to hide. If they have 10 photos, all with a closed smile, I assume there's a riot going on between the ivories. Same with just using head and shoulder shots. Who knows what's bulging the midsection? Maybe a child brewing. Yes, it happens. I'm pregnant, they say. And you're on here to look for a new father for your child? Maybe. Filipinas aren't the brightest bulbs in the room. A number of them describe themselves as simple. When I point out that calling a person simple in the UK is an insult, they get offended. God knows why. On some websites there's a have children question. Rather than answer yes or no, some tick no answer, which is sort of a giveaway. On Tinder, one girl wrote prefer not to say in the employment section, with one of her photographs showing her sitting in a uniform beneath a McDonald's sign. I ask if they're a student. Yes, they respond. Not yes, I'm studying the art of conversation. I ask if they've got WhatsApp. Yes, they respond. Not yes, here's my number. That leads to another question. When you're not a premium member on Pina Love and your questions are limited to one every 10 minutes, it's pretty frustrating as I bite my tongue for the next 10 minutes whilst waiting to type the question asking for their WhatsApp number. If I ask 2 questions consecutively in the same text, only one will be answered. Don't expect them to lead conversations or ask questions of you. Like waiting to see if they texted me first the next day, I'd wait and see if they asked anything of me. The initial messages are more like an interview where I'm asking the questions all the time. I tend to give up on them if I've asked the first dozen questions which have all been answered with one word and they've asked nothing in return of me. Clearly an indication that they're not really interested. So I move on. I know how to take a hint. But why have they pressed the show interest button in the first place when they're clearly not? I don't think Filipinas understand humour. Which is strange, as you see Filipinas laughing all the time. But whilst on dating websites, they take everything too seriously and don't see the funny side. They don't get sarcasm or irony. You can't really do slapstick on dating sites, which is all that a lot of them understand. So you need to tread carefully. Don't try to make a joke that will only be understood by women in your own culture, as it won't be here. They will block or ghost you immediately. I should know, it's happened to me on numerous occasions. Someone even took umbrage at being called an old soul. You need to be patient and wait for them to get to know you. Okay, that's it for part 1 on the subject. My right arm is tingling and I need my dating website fix. So I'll see you in part 2. If you liked the video, please could you like and subscribe. See you on the next video. Take care everyone.